Cool, on to Act 3. What are all those people on the left there? We're gonna see some new things. Interesting. The creation of Liam's Memorial Day. Aw, they're gonna grieve for him. Oh, poor guys. If only they knew what was beyond the void. It's gonna be very interesting to see what's everyone else's past. Aw, but look at the little statue, that's cute. We are gathered here today to celebrate the life of our friend, who, though faced with many challenges, managed to put up a fight. Right up until the very end. His life was cut short, because he was murdered. Ink, you'll not get a statue. You'll not be remembered fondly. I am ashamed. Ashamed that I ever considered you as one of us. I wish you hadn't ever been born inside this tank. You were selfish. Horrible Axolotl who thought only of himself. Damn it. It's all because of you that I'm never going to get home. Hey, he's gone now. He's been gone for years. Last bit of his old self, at the least, is buried in that corner. You saw how that, shrunk after he left. He even tried putting a part of it into the void. Not going to do us any harm, and at this point it's safe to assume he's really gone for good. Yeah, Egghead, just forget about the old Ink. Why don't you think of all the crazy fun we've been having in here lately instead? I recall you saying something really mushy-gushy the other day. Something about appreciation for this new way of living? Yeah. In the end, I know what happened. It was probably for the best. That's what conventional morality tells me anyway. Anyway, sorry. Ceremony isn't about Ink. It's to honor you, Liam. I think I'll speak for all of us when I say that you'll never be forgotten, no matter how much time passes. Told this to them, but I never had the chance to say it directly to your face. I wish there was more I was able to do for you. If I'd paid more attention to you in that last month instead of obsessing over that stupid void, or if I had just worked on the simple possibility that Ink could have come back, then... Hey, you've been teaching Axel and I to think objectively lately, haven't you? Sort of like the detectives in those mystery novels you read to us every night before bed. This is gonna seem like a random question, but why do most of the culprits in the murder mysteries commit their crimes? Well, so far we've read about a lot of reasons, haven't we? Love, money, revenge. Although, in a few cases, the villains of those novels seem like psychopaths that kill based off of a no discernible logical objective. It's exactly that. Even if the author gives a reason, the villain never really has a good reason for taking an innocent person's life. Kind of 1,000 links of logic one needs to pull in order to convince themselves to end a life that has done no harm. But most of the time it's not sloppy writing or poor characterization. Bad guys in those novels are believable enough. They end up killing because they were transfixed on something. Some of the authors we read have gone to great lengths to show that. Bad guys ruminate on whatever drives them until it rots them from the inside out. Act on their horrible, evil emotions until they're blinded by rage. Sounds like somebody we once knew. It's really rare for an antagonist in one of those stories to have a motive that doesn't seem absolutely stupid to someone with even the most basic morality. And when they inevitably get caught, they go to jail. They give up their entire life because they were transfixed on something that happened in the past. And by doing so, they gave up their entire future. What could you tell someone like that? Well, it's not easy. It's easy enough to judge them, say that they're a horrible person and move on. But if I was going to give them advice before they do something unforgivable, tell them to analyze the situation and do the right thing. Make sense of what went wrong. Learn from your mistakes. In essence, improve and move on. Life can be painful, but if you don't take the steps to ensure a good future, you might just fall into the same trap again. History often repeats itself. You know your answer then. Improve. And move on. Guilt has never been our friend. It is a horrible parasite that has tried to feed on all of us in different ways these past few years. I agree. I'm sorry for the outburst earlier. Is there anything the two of you would like to say before the ceremony comes to an end? I want to say something. Pick me. Go ahead, Axie. Liam. You know, I can't wait for you to regain your memories of this place. When that day comes, I'll be sure to bring you back here and we'll have a big old chuckle together. And I can't wait till you're old enough to help us with some of the construction too. Even though the tank isn't that big, we're making it look nice and dense and populated. You probably love the work we've been doing, don't you? Oh, I'm sure you do. And Ink? Axie paused. I hope you'll be nicer when you get older. I'll teach you kindness and love. So there's no way you'll be mean this time around, right? I don't think he will, Axie. Not if he raises the three of them right. Liam. I also think that one day you'll come back to us. Come back to us in the way we remembered you. But even if you never fully wake up, I think you can still live your dream of seeing fun and exciting places. 'Cause like Axie just said, we're going to build them for you. I promised myself I wouldn't cry. So, what are these stupid tears doing on my face? It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? That you came back to us. Yeah, it definitely is. I'm so proud of you, you little cutie pie. It doesn't have to be the last time we say what we want to him. Well, die, kid. He's sleeping on the other side of the tank right now. I'm talking about the old Liam. This monument isn't going anywhere. For however long we live, I plan to keep it clean and maintained. I was never able to do much for you while you were alive, and I regret doing that, so... Oh man, Egghead, how many times do I have to say it? When he regains his memories, we can do whatever he wants to the statue. Maybe we'll even dig up his old arm for funsies. Look, I'm sorry to say it again, but I don't think the babies are reincarnations of Liam and Ink, like you two think they are. But, Egghead... Wait, so we have, a few new friends now? I'm guessing that's what the Axolotls we saw, on the, Chapter 3 screen. It's okay, Axie. Look, we ever have any words to say to him, Liam is always going to be here. The last thing I want to say is no consolation prize, but your death helped me out a lot. Helped me to break out the void spell. Helped me to stop obsessing over RB. I'm starting to come to grips with not getting home too. Not fixated on the theoretical life I once lived as a human. These days I'm living my best life as an axolotl. Yes, there's still something missing. But in all honesty, I've had so much fun these past few years. And I'm sure there are still years more fun to come. It's thanks to you, Liam, that I'm able to appreciate these good times. Nobody said anything more. Three of them slowly trickled away from the memorial. I thought I'd have more things to say, but the words caught it on the tip of my tongue. Hey, he's always gonna be here, right? If not by the memorial, then swing around elsewhere in the tank. That's true. Axie, I just don't want us to completely forget you, you know? About the old Liam. Ever since the babies came to us, especially Lee, of course, it's like I replaced him in my mind. I barely even think about old Liam, and that's a little scary for me for some reason. If Lee and aren't old axolotls, like Nia thinks they are, then I don't want to forget. Lana, why do you think you'll forget him? Because time is a really long time. Well, there is a way of keeping track of time, you know. And a way to remember and annually celebrate important events. Ever heard of a little thing called a holiday? When we finalize our calendar, we can add in as many holidays as we want to remember certain events. What do you say? You can work on it for the rest of the day. Are you guys cool with that? I don't think the kids are waking up for a while anyway. That sounds fun. But when you say holiday, you mean like days where we do special stuff, right? In that case, I want my own special period of time. An entire month dedicated to me. I hereby propose that each year we celebrate Axie Month. You know, I might be tempted to grant that request, seeing as our calendar is looking pretty barren right now. What do you think, Lana? It would be kinda neat if we all had our own months, wouldn't it? Never got around to asking you, how is our calendar going to be structured? Well, the idea started up as my own way of keeping track of things a long time ago. So, it might not make much sense to you guys. The modern human calendar, the one that the characters in the books that we read follow, was created according to the solar lunar cycle. Calendar tracks how many times the sun rotates around the Earth, and 12 months were created based off of that. But none of that needs to be true in here. I'm not even sure if the tank has a sun. We have no seasons, no weather to keep track of, and no environmental factors to govern us. Unless you count the void, of course. So, we don't need to play by those rules. We can create our own calendar, with our own way of keeping track of time. The human calendar is 12 months with 365 days. But ours is a lot simpler than that. Our calendar, from the start of the year to the end of the year, is less than half of that time. Unlike the human calendar, which has some months with more days than others, ours will have 30 days per month, and only 5 months per year, which comes to exactly 150 days in one of our years. Like I said, the human calendar isn't that neat. It's kind of rigid. But isn't that a nice way to keep track of things? Luckily for you guys, I haven't decided upon any names yet for the months or holidays. In my haste, I simply wrote month 1 to month 5. So the future is a blank slate, literally. I think I understand. So since you've been keeping track of the days, which month and year we are in now, we're in the 3rd month of our year in this tank. Dating back to the first day that we emerged from the void together. In the human world, there are many people who use AD after the date to signify the modern age of time. I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool if we had something like that as well? Since we came from the void, how does after void, or AV, sound to you guys? If we go by this, that means right now we're in the year of 3AV. What do you guys think about this naming scheme? I dig it. Me too. So, when are we designing this calendar and creating our holidays? I mean, we should pick, like, days with significance to us, right? That seems like a good way to do it, yeah. Come on, I'm gyrating over here at the thought of Axie Month. Tell me that we're gonna have Axie Month. Well, yeah, that could happen. Let's discuss it together. I've been keeping a log of when certain things have happened. Not the day when the babies came to us, or that day about a year ago when we found the virtual reality headset. Ooh, you got VR down here? Cool. We could make holidays out of those times too, perhaps. Why don't we get started then? We could even name today after Liam, like a Liam Memorial Day. Yeah, I like that idea too. I guess that means every year on this day we'll celebrate Liam Memorial Day. What started off as a somber morning quickly turned into a fun day. They talked excitedly about the calendar and all the many holidays we were going to create, deep into the night. Or at least they all seem to be having fun now without Ink and, dare I say, Liam. Yeah, well, I mean, Ink definitely brought down the fucking mood. And poor Liam, everybody was so busy looking after him. But now that he's not here, and isn't in much pain anymore, these guys can relax and have fun now. And together, they created a roadmap by which to navigate through eternity. But something is bound to go wrong, because we need to get all three of them into the void now, so I don't know how that's going to happen. Let's turn the clock back to that time 3 years ago. Oh? We're having a flashback? I promised that I'd tell you both everything that I know about the Phantom. A strange figure calling themselves RB. The day it all started. It was shortly after we were born. The same day we each claimed our corners and took our first gulps of life in this tank. As shameful as it might sound, I've been keeping a secret since that very day. Actually, Lana, perhaps, do you recall the feeling of being newly born? The alien feeling of having an entire unfamiliar world in front of you? Something I'll never forget. An eerie fevered dream, a childlike excitement of wonder. I think that now, after reflecting on it a bit, the feeling was of immense relief. Being born in the tank was like opening my eyes after a coma. Like breathing fresh air after being strangled for so long. It was such a relief to be in this environment, truly. But relief wasn't the only thing I felt that day. After the initial calm waned, something happened. I felt a spark of motivation. Old ember inside me burned anew. An old spark which has fueled many of my decisions up to this point can only be described as an intangible sense of unfinished business. These confusing bursts of emotions. Well, I like to think they're controlled by now. But the nightmares, they do still visit me on occasion. I was of course drawn to the void that day. That's why the lab is in such close proximity to it, as you both know. Part of being drawn to the void was the instinctual ember I just mentioned. Feeling of unfinished business, pushing me towards what logically seemed to be the only exit contained within the four walls of our surroundings. That's right. Even if the emotions are controlled, the ember is still lit. Going home still remains my goal, and I doubt that's going to change anytime soon. Our various obsessions. Those who are obsessed with each other. Those who are obsessed with sickness. Those who are obsessed with themselves. Obsessions may have different details, but the way of obsessive thinking always stems from the same strands of logic. As sentient beings, I can't help but be drawn to the conclusion that we are all different sides of the same coin. That's why I fear, and I hope, that telling you two about these messages will not unleash a madness within you, as it had done to me that first day. These are the messages I received. From who, I do not know, not really. I know that All I know are the minuscule bits of vague information they've chosen to give me. Came to some conclusion through this information though, about our phantom benefactor. Yet to confirm the meaning of those letters that they address themselves as R and B. Do have my theories, of course. Now ashamed to say that for the last few months I've put this phantom's words over you two. Putting the words of a complete stranger over the two in front of me, who I see in the flesh every day. It's starting to seem so silly now. I'm a little ashamed. I should have been myself, but that emotional ember burned too bright. In other words, the promise of going home has made me forgo my wits. It's obvious that this RB is not on our side. Ancient powers, that was the straw that broke the camel's back, convinced me otherwise. If only we'd had this conversation earlier, perhaps Liam wouldn't have had to have been dragged into this mess. As the realization dawns on me, I'm starting to truly regret my one-sided relationship with RB. I want you both to know that. At this stage, I can only pray that the void somehow opens up to us again. Not sure if we can go in there through our side without special circumstances. Yeah, Axie. I remember. I'm sorry for that incident too. Because of that time, Axie, I got a hypothesis. That the void is a closed curtain which can only be accessed through one side. To put it another way, imagine as though we Axolotl fell into a trap. No way out unless the hunter, RB, decides to take mercy on us. We walk into the void haphazardly, then yes, our future is uncertain. Last message tells us that we will die. If the void is truly closed off now, don't know how I'm going to live with myself. Thought makes me dread. What? The messages? No, I'm not trying to buy time, Lana. Okay, that's a lie. I'm very nervous about revealing even the little I know. Just in case I misunderstand messages. What if RB is really telling the truth? I suppose I've already disobeyed him by talking to you guys. So what is there to lose now? Okay, first message. We were born alongside it. It was in my notebook. Yeah, the same one you see dangling around my neck all the time. No, I never leave home without it. Message wasn't in plain sight. I think by hiding messages, RB was making sure they only got to me. But, well, as you'll soon hear, this is evidence against that too. On that first day alive, I was simply coming to terms with my existence, and I'm sure you both were too. Looking through my notebook, absently continuing with my thoughts. In that strange haze, my fingers noticed something odd. One of the pages near the back of the notebook was slightly thicker than the rest. Something which should have been totally yeah, whatever that word is. But I had a feeling that something was off. After a bit of fumbling, I realized the strange thickness was 2 pages of the notebook stuck together. And clear as day, one of the pages had a note written on it. Neo. This message is for your eyes only. It is only us now. I'll cut right to the chase then. You probably haven't been in the tank very long, but do you already miss home? Home. Does that word stick out to you? Does it light a fire in some deep recess of your soul? I hope it does. Hope that your very essence is excited. If getting back home feels important, read on. Neo, I'm the one who saved you from your miserable existence. Saved you for a reason. Potential. Realize your potential and use it to aid me. That is the end goal of our engagement. Including you, there are 5 axolotls in this tank. 5 axolotls, each with potential. Yet I plan to have only one essence under my command when all this is finished. Do you understand what that means? Do you want to live or do you want to die? May I have a chance to go back to this home you desire under my guidance. There's only one rule I'd like you to follow for now. You can only show these letters to yourself. Do not let any other entity know of my plan or my existence. Prove to me something, Neo. Prove to me that you are worth bringing home. For now, like your new life as an axolotl, when this letter makes sense, when you have fulfilled every desire of the soul, then perhaps you'll find your way home. RB. That was the first message. I discovered it in my notebook not even 24 hours after awakening here, before the letter was even made. I had no idea how to react, yet as the letter started, I felt compelled by an urge to go home. I've told you both no falsehoods in our time together, but I did leave these messages out. Because of that rule, not to share with others. But damn, that part about RB only picking one of us to go home never really sat well with me. It was soon apparent that some of the books that came through the void were fictional and others were non-fictional. Such a deluge of reading materials coming on those first few days that has managed to last us all this time. I separated these books by categorizing as they came in, and learned about many things. Mostly I learned about Earth. That's where I came from. I think that's where we all came from, if I had to guess. And so I began slowly questioning all of you about your thoughts of this other world. Felt like maybe if you guys knew something, well, I was also curious if you all received letters as well. Guess not, huh? That is odd. I thought we were all part of this test. And soon enough, within our first week here, I realized that I could pseudo-manipulate the void, putting in items that had relationships with other items. I saw magic I once compared to a strange type of alchemy. I already told Alxie, but that's how I got the materials to construct my bookshelf and my lab. Eventually, RB did contact me again, 3 times in total. But from what X said in the last message, I fear we may not hear from him again. The second message came in a book that appeared 2 weeks after our birth. A comprehensive guide and study of axolotl biology. Cross-referenced that book several times in our conversation, as you may remember. Any of you could have found this message, but had I not been there to snatch the book out of the void. By reversing the dust jacket, the message was written in big bulky letters. While it was much easier to find than the first message, it also had much less to say. Neo, how is life in the tank treating you so far? Are you and the others getting along? Are you on the way to realizing your potential? There are others who have been stealing my attention lately. Wonder if one day when you fully mature, you'll like to meet some of my other candidates. That is, if you ever even get to that point. Teaching a certain somebody how to fetch. Would you like to learn how to fetch too one day? Well, despite my attention to other matters, I still have hope for this little tank. Other projects in a similar position to this tank have not failed recently, and I'm not sure why. Prove to me that you're ready. I don't care how long it takes, Neo. Time in the sense that you know it is a trivial matter to my kind, but I do not care about results. If you can figure out the truth of this place that you're in, that may be enough to sway me into granting your desire for home. No promises, though. Come to me when you are ready, when you have lived through eternity and tasted the heaven of your own choosing. This is my last message. Soon the tank will become obstructed from my view, and you will be alone. I'll be. On this message, I confirmed a few suspicions I had. We were in some kind of test, not just against each other, but maybe even others beyond the tank. Actually, I'm not sure if direct competition is correct. Also, just had a thought. Maybe this eye that Liam was talking about that was watching over the tank is this RB guy. Because that would make sense as to who's been keeping an eye on us and whatnot, especially after reading through these notes and whatnot. But this RB is orchestrating some sort of pissing contest. The other thing I concluded was the victory condition for this pissing contest. That's why, up until this point, I tried reasoning without various things about my past life, about our existence here, our relationships, and our obsessions. In this regard, nothing I have is fully concrete, only guesses, hypotheses. I started to think long and hard about these messages, what it meant to go home. But it wasn't last message as he said it would be. There was one more. I wanted to figure out the secret of the tank. Finding out how to manipulate the void seemed like the logical first step in achieving that. One point in the time between the second and third messages, terrible nightmares plagued me every night. Thus, for a brief time, I stopped sleeping so much, and gave in fully to my emotions. I did manage to break out that stupor though, only to crawl right back in when the voice stopped working later on. I think I had a slap to the face. Realizing that we were not on Earth kicked some sanity in my face. The reality of you guys, the empty space around the tank, the very real sensations of swimming in my waking hours all brought me back to the mindset of reasoning and logic. I think I told you before, Axie. Nothing about our existence makes sense. In a tank we played by different rules than those who live on Earth. I began to think, if we weren't the tank, then where were we? I still don't know, not really. Not even sure if it's explainable in the traditional sense. If RB is truly a higher being, as he so boasts, yet as angelic as he tries to make himself in these messages of superiority, isn't it also quite unfair that RB is just stringing us along? That's why I'm done playing by his rules. My guess is that Ink was the candidate RB was looking for, and that was his last test, was to take Liam back. Who's to say what's going to happen now? By all accounts, the void not working anymore in the third message. Seems like RB may be done with the three of us who remain. Yes, that's right. They say there were 3 messages in total. The third message actually came in on the same day that Ink first got absorbed into the void. It was only a month or 2 ago. It actually was with me at the time the message came in. Oh, cause yeah, that was when we were waiting for Ink to come, or something to come out of Ink, being sacrificed and whatnot. So I guess there was something that came through, he just lied about it. It's the last item that came through the void. Yeah, the message came in on a very peculiar book called... Oh yeah, that book, that's right. Everything. My discovery of the Ryokoshi, the world's oldest and deadliest civilization. I flipped through the book immediately, sensing the odd flavor of it, even as you were beside me that day, Axie. Yeah, even if it did strike me in that moment as slightly odd, I didn't at the time imagine that this journal was one of the vehicles in which RB would send one of his messages. Have to understand that books come through every day in the preceding weeks, sometimes multiple books, so I was hoping for a fun fictional book that day. I found the message that afternoon. Actually, as I was reading through the message for the first time, after decoding it, I heard a knock on the door from you, Lana. That was a busy day if I recall. That was the same day when Axie had his violent encounter with Ink. Back when Ink was just a regular Axolotl. Taking the utilitarian view, but frankly, his life was not worth the 2 of yours, or even Liam's. Although, unlike RB, I do not claim to be any sort of higher morality, and am not fit to be the judge of matters such as that. Anyway, the last message did not feel like the other messages. It was foreboding, but short. Let me talk about the strange book it came on. After reading the book several times, I still don't get the Ryokoshi is about. To put it simply, the story is about an archaeological professor named Dr. Gatz and his dealings with a supernatural entity known as the Ryokoshi. Yeah, it's definitely about RB. The book goes into a great deal detail describing his own egotism, his disdain for the lower intellect of most of his students, and his ambition for great discovery. During his graduate school days in South America, he finds relics to an ancient civilization that was unknown to him before the Ryokoshi. His thirst for glory overcomes his honor, and so he does not tell his colleagues about this discovery, instead compiling all the research into a journal. He's planning to make a big splash, reveal it to a large publication all at once, when his family secured all the tribe's secrets. Makes me think, maybe this Dr. Gatz guy is maybe, our Neo here. Learns more about this tribe, how their god is known as everything, how they had a ceremony called the Messenger, while exploring their strange caves. Meanwhile, as Dr. Gatz spends his years gathering more information, hiring shady cheap workers instead of qualified archaeologists, continues to teach in order to fund his private endeavor. A central conflict in this journal comes about as Dr. Gatz becomes increasingly more paranoid that one of his old students is out to get him. A student who he later finds out has been enrolled in various classes he has taught for decades, unbeknownst to him. Eventually the journal ends, and it is presumed that Dr. Gatz meets an unfortunate end from his old student, who is somehow connected with the Ryokoshi. Sorry if that was a little confusing, but that was a very basic summary of this old tale. The whole story was written in the first person, and in a very specific type font that resembled a handwriting. The book was old in other ways too. There wasn't even a copyright section near the front. The important thing, the message from RB, was easy enough to find. It was on the back cover of the book, printed right into the last page. At some point in the story, Dr. Gatz learns the strange bright blue alphabet of the Ryokoshi makes a handy chart for him. Blue alphabet? Oh, it's like the blue text of Neo. RB's message was easily decipherable, using the analog of this strange alphabet. Fortunately, after I decoded it, the message disappeared. I only have my memory to go by, but I did write it as best as I could when I had the chance, in my notes. It spoke of the conflict Axie and Ink would have later that day. Compared to the other two messages, this one was menacing and straight to the point. Disregard other messages. The conflicts in this tank may lead one of you to kill another. The choice has been made, and the experiment ended. An opening will present itself, and then it will end. If you want to die an agonizing death, if you want your soul to be erased and your mind ripped apart from the seams, you can step into the void. It will kill those of you who are not chosen. The choice is yours. Live out the rest of your days in peace, fight warm strangers, or die. End. Yeah, that was a very ominous note. Seemed as though from the first two messages that Albie had a plan, and yet somehow in the time between them, it seems that I angered him. This message did not sound like others at all. Is this someone new was watching over the tank? I wasn't sure about what to make of it, but the void stopped working the next day. Ever since then, I've been in a state of anxiety. I thought that Ank would produce some other item, or an enhanced version of himself. It's confusing. Void, RB, Dr. Gats, it's all damn confusing. Still trying my best to make sense of everything. I'm sorry. I might have rambled on a bit, but there you have it. That's my story. You know pretty much everything I do now. Bottom line is the void is broken and Liam and Ank are gone. All signs point to us being trapped in here forever. But that can't be, you guys. There is absolutely no way that can be true. That ember inside me yearning for home still burns brightly when I let it. I have to make the void work again. And then we'll be able to figure out a way out of here. Because what is the alternative? I mean, we get to live peacefully here, hopefully, maybe. Unless those babies grow up to be, vicious murderers. Lately, I feel as though I've lost some great labyrinth. Or lost in some great labyrinth. I run around and around, checking each wall for exits. But the maze only loops in on itself. The more I run, the more walls tell me the truth. They whisper things into my ear. It's impossible to fight against us, Neo. Accept your fate like a good boy, Neo. But if that's true, then what? Do I just stop and make a home in this maze? An annoyingly small cage I find myself in day after day? The more I ruminate on it, worse the horrible existential thoughts become. Just what's the point? What's the point of anything? I can't get home. I can't leave this maze. And just how the hell am I supposed to live with myself? Neil was close. Much too close to Void. Closer than he'd ever dared himself to be in a long time. The currents changed or his balance slipped. There's no question. He'd fall right in. And yet, that didn't seem like an insane notion. Just walk forward and it would all be over. Stress would be answered in kind. Damn it, what am I doing? It isn't logical. I know what my goal is. I know what I have to do. The goal is to make the void work again so I can get back home. Not like the void can be on the fritz forever. Despite what Albie implies, I refuse to believe that this is all the life in the tank can offer. It had been a few weeks since the incident with Ank and Liam, and despite Nia still feeding various small items each day, Void had yet to produce anything. So, after all this time, has the Void amounted to nothing more than oversized garbage disposal? Are we really supposed to run here for all of eternity, like RP implies? Is this what being discarded is like? No, I refuse. I refuse. RP, don't you dare underestimate me. I'm going to get back home, wherever home is. You'll see. You'll definitely see. During our conversation was something Nia has struggled with a lot these past few weeks. It was times like these where he strained his brain to search through options he hadn't previously considered. If that didn't work, then he strained his brain to think of something to cheer himself up. That one book. Thought back to the book about human history that had come in on the second week, one of his most valuable and educational materials. And with this renewed sense of confidence, he hurried back to the lab. The moon. Man was able to walk on the moon just 66 years after flying an airplane for the first time. Then why shouldn't I be able to? No, a stupid example. The line of reasoning doesn't make any sense. What am I even saying right now? Alright. Let's be logical. Let's be practical. Do I have options at all? Well, there's some things I haven't thought of yet. Again, he went back to the same thought pattern. The same conversation in his head. Sometimes he was successful in hyping himself up, and he had a brilliant spark of inspiration that led him to trying out something new. But ultimately, he was starting to realize that these thoughts did more harm than good, and his plans had yet to bear any fruit. He knew that he was slowly being beaten down by the harsh reality of the situation. Every day he waited, prayed, or something from the void, so that he could still fight to go back home. He had nightmares too. Times horrible thoughts invaded every crevice of his mind. When would the ink or Liam come back? Would ink eventually come back even stronger to finish the rest of them off, like he'd alluded? That remained to be seen. Okay, what items are to be sacrificed today? This hilt. Indeed, it was the hilt of the axe I had used against Ink to weaken his arm. This is the one last thing I own that isn't made of paper. Please, Void, react to this. Please. Threw it in. Just like the last several items he threw in, the Void ate it up without question, making only a scarce sound while doing so. What am I doing? If the other items didn't work, there's no way a rusty hilt would do anything. Well, aside from that, I guess. There's my notebook. I can't. Not that. Is it time? Is it time to go to Plan A? The A in Plan A stood for Axie, obviously. He is the only one. He must somehow be the solution to this riddle. Dang it. Liam rushed through his lab to find a sample of Axie. Even though there had been much less to do lately, he had let his lab get really unorganized. Ah, here it is. A whole piece of Axie flesh, and the string that he used to hover it into the void. That's right. You have to use Axie's skin too. The unthinkable happened. Void ate the piece of flesh. And just like that, his last stable hope vanished. What? What the hell does this mean? Is my flesh also... Neo took out a sharp piece of wood from his pocket and used it to slice off a small piece of skin from his tail. Tried his flesh sample of skin to a piece of string, hung it over the void. Just like before, the void ate his piece of flesh too, instantly and without question. Maybe again? No, again. Neo, are you okay? You're bleeding. Just what are you doing to yourself? Axie had been watching him as he frantically cut off various pieces of his skin, pushed them down into the void. His immediate reaction was a stark sense of embarrassment. But then his mind started focusing on what really mattered. Axie. Please, Axie, I need another sample from you. Just a small one. The skin at the bottom of your feet isn't doing anything special, right? You won't miss it, I'm sure. Please. Your sample, the one that wouldn't be absorbed by the void. It stopped working for whatever reason. So I need a new one. Axolotl, we can generate new skin amazingly fast. Your brain's making new foot skin by tomorrow. Neo, get a hold of yourself. Axie doesn't have to give anything to you, especially a piece of his own freaking skin. Don't be like Hank. Don't become unreasonable and demanding. Try to be mindful. Promise us that you were done listening to RB. Seems like the kind of thing a weirdo like him would come up with. Test or experiment or something in order to drive us apart. Please, I'm well lost with my research. Getting a piece of his skin is all I'm going to be thinking of for days now. You don't understand. Without that flesh, without Axie, there's no way we can possibly get back. Get back to what? We talked about this. You have no idea what you're even trying to get back to. You can give me a compelling reason, sure, I'll listen. Look, we didn't come here this afternoon to argue. We came here because we've been worried about you. You know, it might do you some good to take some time off. What if you just took a short break from your research? Play with me and Axie for just a teeny tiny little bit. It'd be fun. I told you guys, I don't have time to try for about doing nothing. The more time I waste doing nothing, the more my momentum will fall. Need to solve this riddle and quickly. I all read the messages he showed us. There probably isn't anything you can do now. It might be time to accept that, and live our lives here peacefully. That's right, Egghead. Don't you dare say something like that. Imply that I should just give up like a common fool? Some way or another, gotta get back home. Maybe you, but not us. Neo, I know very well this road with you is eventually leading. At some point you'll get a piece of my skin from me. Then at some other point you'll pressure me into the void, just like before. Like I told you last time. Something like that, it just ain't happening again. Axie, but those are my final words on this. Sorry, Egghead. Look, from my end, I'm not telling you to stop researching, but you just look so run down and stressed. Can't help but be worried. Come on, take a break. An hour playtime recharge your batteries. Do I look like I have an hour? Do you look like you have an hour? Yes. Well, yes you do. All work and no play makes Neo a dull boy. All work and no play makes Neo a dull boy. Besides, Egghead, you promised you'd play with me and never did. Remember? Huh? I did? When? The time you made me go into the void. Now I'm cashing in on my check. Come. You need to clear your head, Neo. If I made a promise to you, then sure, I apologize. Fine then. What are we doing? Tag or something? Checkers. We gotta play some checkers. Just you and me. Mano a mano. Did I mishear you? No, you didn't. Unless you did. I said we're going to play checkers, Grandma. Checkers is a board game. I know what checkers is, but what? What the hell did you just say? The board game came through the void? And you guys didn't tell me? Do you realize the amount of stress, the amount of work I've... No, it's nothing like that. Come to my corner and it'll all make sense. Lana's corner. When had he last been there? Been hyper-focused on research lately. What he remembered had looked remarkably plain, much like the area of her former neighbor Liam. But what he witnessed when he went over there? was anything but plain. Oh yeah, we finally get to see Lana's corner. Oh, it looks really nice. Very fitting for Lana. Well, now that she has a lot of time to be able to focus on it now. This is... Lana, this is genius. Genius? I don't know about that. Just a lot of elbow grease. Oh, and actually helped a lot too. When did you have the time to make all of this? Look at how intricately crafted everything is. All this stuff, this bed, this table, all of it was made from plants. The same plants that grow on the bottom of the tank. Yep, that's right. Even these shapes over here. Or even these shapes over here. How did you get the plants in such a pattern? It's called trimming. It's called trimming and trying, egghead. You should really try it with us sometime. It's actually quite relaxing. Are there seriously so many plants in this tank? How did you pick all of these without me even noticing? Oh, that's simple. After you pick them, the plants grow back. Each day when Ax and I go back to the same spot, the plants are there again. The plants grow back? That's right, Eggy. They grow back. Don't know why you just had this revelation, because I mean, it's kind of obvious that they'd grow back eventually. You good then, you? Not gonna go all crazy scientist on us. The plants grow back. The plants grow back. It's changing the ball game entirely. If the plants grow back, that's an entirely renewable resource which we have inside the tank. An entirely renewable resource to work with opens up so many possibilities. Yeah, you're right. You're spacing out just a bit. I'm fine. Just admiring your craftsmanship is all. Well, I'm glad you like it so much. This is just the beginning too, egghead. You should hear the kind of plans that Lana has for the hunker junk known as the tank. Oh, actually, I'm flattered. But wait a second, you love the tank. Why would you call it junk? Hunker junk. Ain't that just a fun thing to say? Flies right off the tongue. It was completely overwhelmed. All the possibilities of having an entirely renewable resource. Surely you've thrown plants in the void before, but that was nothing new. And now we could do it haphazardly. Craft the plants into any shape that was necessary. There were potentially many other uses too. Train the plants and using them as tethers instead of using string. Brain harnesses, barricades, and even full plant bodysuits. You can make all sorts of tools and materials. It will study their growth cycle. And you need to write this down. Right now. Tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow. Tomorrow I promise. What do you mean tomorrow? Tomorrow I swear. We'll play a game together tomorrow. Egghead, you promised. Tomorrow I'll play double the time. Triple the time. Play whatever game you want. This time I promise. The planets have given me an idea. Now I gotta strike the iron while it's hot. Son of a bitch. Before they could reason with him, he was already gone. No. Yep, I think he is going to be the next one to go. After learning that the plants in the tank were a renewable resource, Neil was filled with a myriad of wild ideas that flew off his mind into the page. However, none of the ideas did him any good, and the wellspring of wisdom had become dry after only a short 24 hours. Dang it, stupid plants. Making me look bad. Must be something else I can use them for. He'd been benching ideas after ideas, experiment after experiment. He felt his mind running on overdrive. Every breath he took over the last few hours was filled with a deep exhaustion. Things were even starting to become blurry. The world starting to spin crazily around him. Why do I get the feeling that he's gonna soon snap? That's when he realized an obvious fact. He didn't even remember the last time he slept. But that didn't matter. The spinning world could wait. His exhaustion, it could wait too. There were still plenty of ideas he hadn't explored yet. It had to be. What if we take the plants and craft them into a perpetual motion mechanism? That's right. We could use this new machine to automate throwing plants into the void. How about now, RP? You could ignore us if we did that. Why do I get the feeling he's going to eventually throw himself into the void at some point? Here's another one I bet you haven't thought of, RB. This crack. Yes, the crack in the corner where Egg used to live. Maybe we just break open the glass and see what's really outside the tank. Just a renewable resource that has possibilities. If it's a renewable resource, then the possibilities must be endless, right? Right? New resources are the best. The best. No way my planet's going to already run dry. Not as long as something is renewable. God, that must be the sexiest word of all time. Yeah, it's not over yet. Yeah, please. Please tell me you've been taking care of yourself. Once again, they spotted him doing something strange, running into the crack in the wall near Axolotl corner. Well, actually I found it kind of hard to work today, and so, well, we're still worried about you. More than ever. That's right, I really miss the old Egghead. Egghead who'd call me a moron when I made a stupid joke. Egghead who once invited me to his lab. Egghead who used to hang out with me and brag about his ego. I don't know what's happening with you, but I don't like it. Not one single bit. Oh my gosh. Guys, that's right. He just remembered the promise he'd made with them, to play a game of their choosing. Somehow that promise had completely slipped his mind, even if he had said it with the intent of keeping it. I promised I'd play with you guys today, so let's do that. Today? Again, that was more than a week ago. Me and Lana even had a bet on whether you'd come each day. Well, it wasn't a bet exactly. Think of that since we're both optimistic people. Each day we expected you to come, but you never did. Has it really been that long since I was last in your corner? Yes. Gosh. I guess when you're doing science, time just passes you by at the blink of an eye, huh? So, Neo, what's it going to be? Are you going to play with us or lie to us some more? I'll play with you guys, okay? I'll play right now. No, you know what? That's not acceptable either. Have you looked at the glass lately? Do you even know what your own reflection looks like? You're a mess. Every single part of you right now is a mess. So go take a nap. Actually, I'm used to waiting at this point. But just know, just get us off again and go researching after you wake up. Then we're through trying. Won't bother you again. I understand. I know, really have been a jerk. I'm sorry. And thank you. I'll try to get some sleep now. Yeah, even as he laid on the ground of his lab, trying to get some rest, mine would not stop racing. He knew he needed sleep, but it just wouldn't come. He was starting to panic. That's when he noticed the 2 tiny blue pills next to him. It's the last of the promotional candy once given to Liam. These little blue things had worked to briefly sedate Liam back then. But they had also somehow made Ink more powerful when they forcefully fed it to him. He had no idea what effect it might have on him. But his mind just wouldn't shut up. So, uncharacteristically, and without thinking about it too much, he gulped them down, hoping for some respite. Uh-oh, I don't like this. I don't like where it's going. Here we go. How long was I out? He tried to reorientate himself. So groggy this morning. I suppose that my body needed rest more than I thought. Morning was peaceful, but only for a moment. Didn't take long for a feeling of despair to dawn upon him. Home. There has to be other things I can try. Because if we never get out of this tank, then will I have to deal with this emptiness forever? Eventually the grogginess started to wane. Began to trace out the events of the last few days. That's right, can't forget again. Axolotl. He hadn't meant to betray them or ignore their calls, but important things had just gone in the way. Needed to go over there. Do anything in his power to make it up to them, because he had wronged them. Ah, hey there, kid. Did you have a nice nap? Just how long was it out for? However long it was, he had to record it in his notebook, for nobody else would. Need to record that missing week too. You know, I haven't seen anyone sleep that long since Lena first took the promotional candy. Well, about that. If I had to guess, she slept around 13 hours. Yeah, I was pretty tired. In fact, I still feel a little off. But I'm thinking a lot more rationally after getting a good rest. Look, I'm sorry, guys. My habits haven't been very good lately. I'm not going to stop the frequency at which I research, but it was wrong of me to skirt you guys off after making a promise. I want to make it better. So, with all that said, how about some checkers? I'm gonna kick your butt. Oh, hell yeah. What was that, actually? You heard me, you pasty little egghead. Kicking your butt is what I'm gonna do. So I assume you play checkers often, Axie. Do you fancy yourself as some kind of pro? Me and Lana have been playing at least once a day. Axie is actually quite good, Neo. I think he'll give you a run for your money, especially if you're new to the game. I'm not completely new. I think I can remember the rules a little. There's familiar shivers again. So, what are we waiting for? Axie led Neo over to a bucket overflowing with items, all which are predictably made of plants. From out of the bag he produced a board and pieces. Pieces were cut and pasted into little circles, one of each colour. That's kinda cool. This craftsmanship. Oh, he's excited about our work again. Last time that happened... Actually, you're going down. Like a clown. Well, if that's the manner in which you want to go down, then sure. No, Neo, it's you who's going to go down. You think you're the raddest dude in the world would be defeated by a mere egghead? How about this? If I win, you have to promise not to call me egghead for an entire day. Ooh, you're on like Funky Kong, son. And if I win... Nah, you know what? We talked it over and I'm not giving you a choice on that one. What do you mean, Axie? Alright, I've set up the board for you guys. We're gonna have a clean fight here. No cheap triple cross counters, we don't want anyone to get punch drunk syndrome. And no external devices will be permitted in this duel either, due to fear of cheating. That means keep your gauntlets firmly in A3W, kids. Yeah, no monkey business, kid. And when I beat you, no crying, okay? You'll eat those words, Axie. Let's go. Yeah, I really love this music for these types of sections. It's really funky. Nani? You had moved this piece forward one space. I didn't expect this level of play from you. I've got a newfound level of respect for you, kid. Don't patronize me, you animal. Two axolotls exchange blows, each moving one piece at a time. Who were the pieces and who were the players in this grand spectacle? However, something soon became apparent about their game. King me. King me, sucker. Bow to your new king, peasant. King me. King me, fool. Well, can't say I expected you to be so good at this game. And the winner by a considerable landslide is Axie, the Axolotl. Crowd goes wild. I win! Birthdays, it's your birthday. I admit defeat. But you know, I was only just getting used to this game again and remembering the rules. I bet you don't have it in you to beat me twice in a row. You're 300,000 years too early to challenge me again. Bring it. Plant pieces were quickly put back into their original positions, and the two went at it again. This time, however, it was a much closer match. No, I'm starting to think the egghead is an android. He's doing the impossible as he's learning. Barely won against that monster, but one day he might conquer us all if we don't set restrictions on his coding. What are you talking about, Axie? Anyway, congrats! You won once again, but it was a real close fight that time. So, what do you say, Axie? Do you think he can win 3 times in a row? I doubt it. I think I'm just about to start finding my groove. Try me. I'll make you extinct like the dinosaurs. For the 3rd time they battled. And this time Nia was finally victorious. No! My precious kingdom of circles will ruin in an instant. Good game, Egghead. Yeah, good game, Axie. Do you perhaps want to play again? I thought you'd never ask. Nia's victory was much more apparent in the 4th game. Nicely done, Neo. Well, it looks like you got some real competition now, Axie. Ha! All this will do is make me even stronger. Now that I have a rival, things from now on will be a lot more interesting. Hey, you got that right. Had a lot of fun too. In playing with Axie all afternoon, Nia had at one point gone completely into the spirit of the game. He hadn't thought of Albie or the Void or home in over a few hours. That must have been a new record. And hey, Egghead, it's not just checkers either. Yep, we got a ton of other games and more in the works. Here, let me show you. Ta-da! There's Tic-Tac-Toe, whatever that one is. We even started working on something that actually wants to call Shoots and Latches. And this is all made from plants, huh? Real impressive. Yeah. I should really go. Every day. What was that, Axie? Every single day from now on, I'm going to see you here, Egghead. No, I mean, I had fun today, but there's still research to be done. To get home, It's only an hour a day, Neo. Think of it as a punishment for breaking your promise to us so many times. Alright. I guess you got me. Since I broke my promise to you both, it's the least I can do. And I've got work to be done now. So then, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place, same channel, same face. Nia scurried off to his lab. Lon and Axie grinned at each other as he left. We did it, Axie. We did it. We did it. Yay! We did it. I'm so glad this way he's not going to stress himself out so much. Viva la Egghead Revolutionary. So, what do you say we continue where we left off earlier? The more games we make, the better. I hear you loud and clear, my wonderful friend. Oh, that was actually kind of sweet. It had begun as a simple daily distraction from research. An hour a day. Welcome break to check in with the other 2 residents of the tank. Maybe play a couple of games with them. But the hours soon evolved into 2, into 3, into 4, and even more as the days began to pass. It was kind of nice that they're finally having a kind of break from everything that's been happening, and they all seem to be happy. But I get the feeling that's gonna change very soon. game sessions started becoming more fun and more competitive, and somehow the days themselves started to seem brighter as a result. Right, I almost had you there, Lana. Just one more round this time, I would definitely come out victorious. Days passed leisurely. The more fun they had during the day, the quicker it seemed to pass. As the games become more energetic, competitive, and complex, Dean began wanting to create some of his own. He wanted to create something from his memories, something which could be used to play a multitude of games. His books had reminded him that this item had existed. If we cut this pile of plants into identical squares and assign markings to each piece, we could make a standard deck of 52 cards. Then, all of a sudden, our gaming options are quadrupled at the very least. Finally, I can whoop your butt at Egyptian War too. Soon enough, they began to dabble in more than just playing games together. They started to use the plants in more exciting, innovative ways. What if we make some more of these in different colours and place them on the west end of the tank? Give the tank a little more colour. Eventually, Nia started thinking of recreational things he wanted to do with the plants in his spare time too. Inventions, walkways, banners, word art. The whole world, which now seemed so bare, was suddenly his canvas. Since the plants were essentially endless in number, he could see in his mind's eye a wide array of possibilities for every single section of the tank. But it wasn't as though Nia had forgotten about the messages, about the void, home, or about RB. Cornered though. I've run out of options for now. I'll just bide my time until an idea hits me. While the discovery of a renewable resource initially seemed promising, nothing had worked out like he had hoped. Everything he immediately wanted to test using the plants had been tested, and now all that was left was to observe their growth patterns. There were times he regretted telling off RB in front of Ink, and there were other times he regretted telling Axie and Lana about the riddle. But come game time, none of that seemed to matter so much. Why don't we expand our workspace a little? We got the entire tank to work with as territory. How amazing the day was. Middle of the night often brought back those cold existential nightmares. Feelings of never being able to return. Feelings of complacency, of giving up. The pointlessness of this life he was now living. And something like that, there's no way to find his mind. The damn void always stood in the center of the tank, taunting him, making fun of him. Sometimes he could hear it speaking to him. I see you there, Neo. Watching and waiting. You want to jump in, don't you? I know you do. What are you afraid of? Actually, can swim in here just fine. He can, but actually vehemently refused. It was still too touchy a subject to bring up. It's the only lead I have. Convincing him to donate some skin was out of the question. Send him into the void. Possible, right now at least. The more I think about it, the less options I seem to have. Just remember, there's no rush, Neo. There's no ticking time bomb dictating our lives here. And there's certainly nothing wrong with spending time with your friends. But then, why did it feel so uncomfortable to be unproductive? The connection. Today was a special sort of day. Westwood expansion was in full effect. They were pleased with all the work they'd done in Mama's Corner, so they decided to move on to laying down groundwork for several new large-scale projects around the tank. All their supplies, all their tools, everything they had set up so far was on the right side of the tank. So it only made sense that the first area they would focus their efforts on beautifying would be the area next to their home base, Liam's old corner. Is this really okay? What if he somehow comes back? I still got hope, you know. It hasn't been forever just yet. Hey, it's not like we're planning on demolishing this place. We're just gonna spruce it up is all. And besides, maybe he'd even like our changes if he came back. Though I can't be sure of that, of course. I agree with the egghead. He'd adore our changes. And hey, if he really comes back and doesn't dig it, then we can just tear it all down. Boom, boom, bang, bang. We smash it all down like a piñata on Groundhog's Day. Yeah, I guess. Something about this doesn't feel right. We talked about it a little bit before, but what if instead of decorations, we use this part of the tank to make a tribute for Liam instead? We got the whole rest of the tank for some of the other plans that we've been discussing, haven't we? This is a special area, a special rock. You know, Lana, gotta be honest, I really like the sound of that. A tribute for our fallen friend is a nice gesture. It's a beautiful idea. Oh man, my mind is running on all cylinders now. I know, a tribute is gonna be huge. Fully animatronic arms, and a head that bows and shoots water at you every hour on the dot. Well, I don't know about that. How about if we start a little smaller, make a snapshot of him instead? The point of it is, I don't want to forget him. I don't want to forget the way he looked, or the way he acted. I want to forget him, no matter what. And if he had a tribute here, he could visit him whenever we'd wanted. Whenever we had something on our minds to say to him. Yeah, that would be nice. There's been a few things on my mind lately that I wish I could have said to him while he was here. Don't worry about running out of space. There's plenty of room for all sorts of wacky gizmos, buildings, and whatever else around the tank. Oh, trust me, I've been thinking the same thing. So, a tribute it shall be. If only so we never forget. Hey, if you want to never forget, all we have to do is make him huge. Axie's expression suddenly faltered. I miss him too, you know. A lot. Never really knew how much until recently. Felt like we were only just starting to know each other. If there was a way we could have spent more time together, take an opportunity like that in a heartbeat. Oh, Axie, I never knew. So I guess it's settled then. A nice big statue. Well, if we want to make it a full structure and not a simple decoration, then it could take years. The best part is that we have years. Heck, until someone tells us otherwise, we have forever. Remember, there's no rush. You're right. Okay then, first things first. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. What are we going to do with the rock? Well, of course we can't get rid of the rock. We agree on no major reconstructions, remember? In many ways to all of them, the rock was the last part of Liam remaining. He had even buried his arm with one end had ripped off under the soil here. I got it. What if we incorporated the rock into the design of our statue? It's theoretically possible to make the vines from the base of the tribute stick out from under the rock. In my humble opinion, it might create a pretty cool effect. I love it. We'll put some plants underneath and then start building the base of the mold right away. We could even start on that part today. Of course, you know there is a small hiccup to this plan. In order to incorporate the rock in our design, we will have to lift it up off the ground. That might seem like an impossible task, but you are dealing with a genius here. I've been thinking of how to deal with problems like these. And for that, we need to make use of the forces of gravity. Leverage. We need leverage, my friends. Mia took them to the drawing board in his lab to explain his plan in detail. And so, for the next 2 days, they tied plants together to make the harness idea which he told them about a reality. Hey, I think it's ready. It's ready. Finally, it's ready. Yeah, and it's a real beauty too. If it really lifts the rock, then perhaps we could use the harness for other tasks in our construction too. Right, are you guys ready? Well, lift this rock up. You guys are going to place a tied row of plants below it, just like we planned, okay? I'm ready, Spaghetti, Egghead. I'm ready too. Just remember to be careful, you guys. I agree, safety first. Okay, last call. You're in position? Then I'm pulling on the lever. Rock rose from its perpetual spot for the first time ever. Go, guys. Go, go, go. It's secure. Lay down the foundation. What's the hold up? What are you guys staring at? No, here we go. Here's the thing that's gonna cause us problems. No, there's something down here. Oh, let me grab this thing. Huh? What is it, Axie? Something was under the rock after all this time? Alright, move out of the way. I'm putting the lid down. So, what sort of thing did you find? It looks like a helmet of sorts. This has to be a video game. Okay, it's another VR headset. Huh. Let me see it. Well, your turn, Egghead. Let's just put this baby on and... Ooh, snuggly. Like how it can fit his head, it's very big. Alright, so what do I have to do here? Boot and log in? Huh. Well, obviously the password is... Password must be peanut butter. What? That wasn't it. Who the heck doesn't like peanut butter? What's this big red message? 4 login attempts remaining, huh? Actually, let me see that. Hand over now. Actually, I think this thing might be more near especially. Psh. DPNs really think you can outclass the video game champion, Axolotl? But alright, I can sense that expression. Here you go, egghead. Finally. Must be the answer I've been waiting for. All this time it's really here. I gotta go to the lab. Examine this thing in full. Just like that, as though it were the flick of a light switch, Neil left the company in full-blown research mode. You know, Lana, it's really not fair. You're founder, not just him. That darn egghead better not be playing any video games without me. Oh boy, I can't wait to bomb some do-dugger noise, or defeat Dr. Robotnik, or say Planet Pop Stars. Heck, maybe I'll even become the Heroes Puzzlers champion. What do you think, Lana? I just get worried is all. I don't want him falling down that lonely rabbit hole of his again. Yeah, we'll soon see. In the end, this is all there is. Huh. A plain login screen and a keyboard to input a password. Nothing more. It's a good find. Important find. That has to help me achieve my goal. But there simply isn't much to do in this thing. Not unless I want to risk entering a password. Need to take action. 4 attempts remaining. Didn't own the tools to take apart the headset. Although he reckoned that with a little elbow grease, doing that might not be impossible. For fear of accidentally breaking it, he wanted to make sure all the options he had available to him were accounted for first. I hope this thing doesn't run out of juice, but something tells me that those rules don't apply here either. I guess I should try entering a password. Perhaps, could it be? Let me try. Home. That wasn't it. Did I just waste a valuable opportunity? 3 attempts left. I should proceed with much more caution from this point onwards. Who knew what would happen if he ran out of login attempts? I might be locked out of the headset for good. Or it could explode. Oh, Axie. Hey. Hiya there, kid. You didn't show up today, so I thought I'd stop and check on you. But to think you were playing video games the whole time? And you didn't share with me? Shame. Not playing video games, Axie. Researching. Trying to figure out what the hell this thing is. It's a video game. What else do you need to figure out? Password for one. Oh, let me try. I bet it's somersault. You already gave it a try before, remember? And I just did too. From now on, we need to be really careful with our guesses. Well, we all found it, right? Shouldn't we all have a turn at putting in a password? That is, well, that's fair, I suppose. I don't need to put in a password. I couldn't even venture to guess what a theoretical password might be to a random virtual reality headset we found on the rock. So don't worry about me. Oh, Lana, you're here too, huh? Yeah, it is past the time we normally meet after all. What else would I be doing? My bad. Well, okay then, alright, let's go. I've been examining this thing all day and I'm pooped. I'll think of something later. Right now, it's time to have fun with my friends. Really? Yeah, it's not like I'll get anything meaningful accomplished by staring at some login screen all day. The weird snow in the background is kinda pretty though, I must admit. Hooray! Actually, the harness is still set up in the same place as yesterday, right? Well then, I think we should finish what we started. Make sure we get the vines on the rock so we can start doing the nitty-gritty work on the tribute. I'm proud of you, Neo. It sounds like you're starting to find a healthy work-life balance. Like you said, this headset isn't going anywhere, and neither am I. But Axie had to promise me not to fiddle with it behind my back. Doing stuff like inputting weird passwords without consulting me. According to this, there are only 3 tries left to us. So I want to be very deliberate with the guesses from now on. Oh yeah, no worries, Egghead. But you definitely gotta let me know if you get any games working on there. Yeah. Well then, shall we head off? Just need to put this in a safe place first. Stay left. The only thing Lana could do is smile from ear to ear. Fears and Neo succumbing to the madness of his obsession again were not for naught. As the weeks turned into months, her smile got brighter and brighter. Until the day that the void started rumbling. And the dynamic of the tank was changed yet again.